Come on in. It's time for a legendary show. This is going to be very, very, very interesting. I hope you guys have pulled your seat up, poured a drink. Time to chop it up.
Well, hello.
I'm sorry. Let's do that again.
You cute.
Welcome everybody to the Clover Nova Note Show. I am your host, Miss Clover Nova, and I'm wondering why I'm light on one side and dark on the other, but let's just go ahead on the show. I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, Mrs. Coco. And Mr. Antonio G. Oh my God, you guys, I am feeling blessed and highly favored today. What a week, you guys. What a week. I'm interested in knowing what you guys' week was like because mine was quite eventful. And yeah, I'm excited about today's show. We had a show planned, you guys, at the last minute. So, hi, Skylar. And of course, you guys didn't see any promo from us because we're challenging ourselves today to just throw a topic out there and we're just going to go for it. So, we're going to start with Mrs. Coco. How was your week/weekend, Mrs. Coco?
Weekend was good. I'm here praying for my grandma. She's currently in the hospital, fighting COVID, and I say fighting because she's gonna win. So, yeah, it's been a long weekend. Little kid and I are still a bit under the weather, but we're here. So, what about
Okay.
you, Mr. G? How's your weekend?
My weekend was a weekend, to say the least. It was good. It was good though. My brother took on the his nephews, which is always a great thing for them to go ahead and take those babies away. Hey, Annie. So definitely a great thing. So we got a chance to get some things ready. So we got the holidays coming up here in the next week, and just getting my house together, getting it prepared and ready for the guests because we'll be hosting this year. So visitors start coming in this Friday in T minus 4 days. The first one knocks on the door.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we ready. We
Nice.
ready.
All right.
How was your
How
weekend?
about you, Miss Nova? Yeah.
My weekend was good. I received a lot of insightful information. I did get to spend time with my aunt. Me and mom went over there for lasagna, chicken. We just met up with my auntie who came in from
Come
out
on,
of
lasagna.
town. Hey,
Mm.
TT Pee Wee. She came from out of town with my cousin Malcolm. And we all gathered and just enjoyed each other's company. And usually around my family, listen, okay, I'm gonna be a little transparent. Usually around my family, I feel like I'm getting to know them again for the first time every time. But this time felt like, it was more relaxed. It was more, you know, it was cool. I enjoyed seeing, my auntie and my cousin because I haven't seen them in a while.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, other than that, I was just trying to get season two secured. So we have some things planned up for y'all for season two, and it's going to be everything.
Mhm.
Um, so if you guys are new here, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, because every 30 minutes before the show, they're going to say, hey, Clover Nova Notes is going live. So tune in. If you are a return subscriber, welcome. And thank you guys for continuing to support the channel. We appreciate you guys so much. We plan on
Oh yeah.
growing this channel. We're planning on, doing some good things for you guys. We have some things for season two, though. I don't even want to spoil it, but season two finna be lit. But
Yeah.
so as today's topic, how do we manage expectations? And like I said before, it was a last minute throw up of a idea, and let's get into it. Mr. Antonio, do you want to lead us off? I'm sorry, Ms.
Really
Coco.
quickly, I just want to get into those glasses. That
Yes.
is,
Eartha Kitt.
Oh, you
Living
talking
us.
about
Yes.
you talking about these things right here on my face? Oh, these? Oh,
they
oh,
are
you know.
everything. What?
So I listen. Let me tell you a little interesting story about these glasses. Now I went on Zillow because I've seen a lot of people with these oversized glasses in their prescription. So I call myself getting my prescription from going to where I got my usual glasses, and I went to get the prescription for these to have them put in here. They only gave me so many of the numbers to put in there, and I went on Zlul to put the prescription in there. And when I got them out the box, I was so excited, you guys. I got these glasses out the box. I looked at I'm like, oh my God, these better than my prescription glasses. But then I looked across the room and everything is blurry. Okay.
Mm.
So up close, because the screen and stuff is up close, I could see clearly. I could see clearly.
Clearly now.
I
Rain.
have to stop here for 2 seconds.
But don't tell me what's across the room over there, because I'm gonna be like, what? But I love them. I want to return these and have them corrected so I can see clear everywhere. Or I
Mm.
might just keep them for just like reading up close for the show.
No, you know what that means? That means it's time for some bifocals.
Oh, well, he said
Well,
enough.
You
I'm
know
just
what?
saying.
These
I
got the
got me.
bifocal. These got the bifocal up under it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for
That's how
reading.
mines are. I got bifocals on mine, so it has the close up and then the fur
Listen, I'm
on
not.
my
I will
regular.
put a back. I don't care what y'all think about
Yeah,
bifocals. If I can see clear, that's the thing. That's what matters.
right. What
And y'all
keeps
can
me
talk
off
about, oh,
the
that don't look
flow?
right.
I told you I
Okay.
follow the weather, so the eyes, it's just the allergies. The eyes are off the chain. So, okay, sorry, I had to cut the camera off really quickly. So, over the weekend, Mr. Antonio G, Nova, and myself had a very interesting conversation. Mr. Antonio, darling,
Look
I
at me
just want
trying to
to say
remember the
thank you.
conversation.
Don't even worry about it. I just want to say thank you. My husband,
Oh,
um, he's doing quite well.
you're welcome. You're
I,
welcome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
yeah,
conversation.
like,
Okay.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you want to know, feel free to message me because I can't. But, honey, darling, our conversation, when I tell you those notes that I
Yes.
was literally writing down, I studied in my head and I was like, okay, do this while that. But that 2 second, 7 second just was like, like to know, like when I tell y'all, I had a very, very, very wonderful evening. I woke up this morning, sinuses where, like,
That's right. Clear
right?
all that up.
So thank you, darling. I
You're welcome.
wholeheartedly appreciate.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm
Glad
sorry.
I could be of glad I could be of service. Okay.
Oh, we're back. Okay.
We're back.
Um. Yeah. So we had that was that was a very interesting conversation.
Baby.
Uh-huh.
If y'all want to know what I'm talking about,
Mm.
send me a private message. I don't mind sharing. But yeah, all right, Mr. G.
That's
You have
it.
more.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great segue, just to understand. As Cole and Miss Coco has stated, for today we're going to be talking about managing expectations. Now, managing expectations, it's across the board. It's across the spectrum. It's not just, how do I control myself or how do I think and feel about things, because we do it all the time. And if you really think about it, you're taught to manage expectations when you're a baby. Let's put it into perspective, right? So when you're a little kid, and you like, Mama or Daddy, can I have? And they say no. That's a man's expectation. You ain't gonna get this just because you want it. You're gonna get it to you when I give it to you. So they're training you and teaching you to keep your mind right and to keep your expectation at a certain level. So that's the first thing that popped in my mind, just going back way back when and being a kid and just
Hmm.
wanting to have, Fruit Loops instead of fruit rounds. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all ever had the fruit rounds before, but yeah, I had fruit rounds back in the day. Okay, or had the Popeyes cereal. The ones that came in a real big old bag. You know what I'm saying?
Child, I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
want to get
Remember
into what kind
those?
of cereal I had because my expectations were not met at all
Of
when I
course
was a
not.
kid. Listen, I didn't expect my mama to feed us. Hi, mom. I'm so sorry if you ever watch this now or in the future. You did what you had to do, and my hats
Yeah,
off to you. But honey, we ate a cereal called King Vitamin,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I wish there was at least one fruit round in that box
Wait,
because
Listen,
that
wait a minute.
tasted like salt, paper, sawdust, paper, and everything.
hey,
King
hey,
Round?
yes, yes. Those are delicious. Listen, let me tell you what.
Oh, they are
Okay,
delicious.
you had a delicious child. Okay, you had a delicious childhood. Okay, because we
What?
had
Wait,
cereal that
no,
tasted like my mom didn't care for us that much.
but see, that's the thing, though. It's not true at all. But that's the thing. When you're a kid, and this is what I'm talking about when you talk about managing those expectations. When you're a kid, you don't understand. You can't put things into perspective as you can as an adult, right? Now you can
Hmm.
sit back and say, all right, I know that she did the best that she could. He or she did the best that they could with what they had and with what they
Hmm.
know, right, or what they've been shown.
Right.
So,
Is this what we're referring to? No. Okay.
Yeah.
mm, mm-mm. So, but yeah, that type of thing is just where we are. Now as adults we can understand that. But if you go back, even if you bring it back every decade of your life, right? You go back the way I think now, and
Yeah.
the way from where I thought back in my teens and my 20s and my 30s, no, totally different. Night
Okay.
and day, night and day. I know now how to what they say, believe what they show you versus what they tell you,
Mhm.
right?
Hmm.
So it's just how you put things into perspective, how to really manage what I expect from somebody else, and
Yeah.
then also to provide to them what they expect from me by my actions. So if I tell you I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, now you can expect that to come from me as being a norm versus it being an exception to the rule,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So I think that is just huge, 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 huge. But we go through that, that minutia, that bullshit, trying to figure that out when we're kids because we don't know no better. We
Yeah.
only been on the earth this long, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't know what's going on. So if you ladies were to think about it, what would be like one of those big key moments that you can say, like, all right, this is the first time that I realized that I was managing expectations from somebody else's behaviors.
Um. Hmm. Okay. So in my household, my mom wasn't with my dad. She was with my stepdad at the time, and realizing that,
See?
realizing that, he was the man of the house.
Hmm.
I didn't expect to. Um, I didn't expect to have to treat him as if though he was my dad. And
Mm.
I think that's
Hmm.
where we disconnected. I was not there yet because I know my dad.
Hmm.
My dad, I used to go to Texas and visit him every summer.
Hmm.
Coming back from Texas, it was just like I didn't like my stepdad too much, and it wasn't okay. We'll just talk about it, right?
Mhm.
So my stepdad had this authoritative personality that I wasn't used to because my dad wasn't authoritative. It wasn't
Hmm.
um, a military type of call me sir and don't harm me. I could talk to my dad freely.
Hmm.
So when he came into the picture and it was two different I expected my mom to kind of remind him like this, you're not, that Clover has her daddy.
Mhm.
you know. So my expectations of my mom, I felt like wasn't met, along with the cereal and other things. But it was just like I
Not the
expected
cereal.
him to understand that I have a father already. You're just here with my mom. And
Mm.
now looking back on it, he came in and he was providing for a household of children that he didn't even have. Like these not, I'm not his child, but he's
Mhm.
taking care of us, and he's, and now I see how frustrating that could have been, to where I felt like the things he took out on me was probably unnecessary as a child. Now as an adult, I'm like, he was frustrated. This was a lot for him. He didn't know
Mhm.
what he was doing.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah.
understand me,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I had to manage that. Unfortunately, it was too late. By the time I got to managing, like, okay, I understand it now. That was over with. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that was a childhood situation, one
Mhm.
of many.
Right.
Um, what about you, Miss Coco?
Um, if I was to pick one out, it would kind of relate to what you just said. So, my dad passed away when I was in eighth grade of cancer.
Mm.
Um, and then my mom started dating a guy. I was on the fence, like, wait a minute, my dad just passed away. I
Mm.
really don't remember how long it was, but obviously in eighth grade, knowing my dad passed away, I probably felt like it was a month after my dad had passed away. And it's like, wait a minute, you've been with this guy all my life. How can you move on so quickly?
Yeah.
Thank you, Uncle Young. I appreciate that. Um, but I felt like, again, it could have been a month, it could have been a year. At the time, I think it was like very early on. And
Mhm.
he came on in, and whew, it was just like, I don't like you, you know?
Mm.
Only man for my mom is my dad. He's gone. My mom should not date again. That's kind of how I felt. And great guy. To this day, I still talk to him every year on my birthday. He calls singing me a happy birthday song.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
okay.
When I was in high school, I did get a little rough patch with him because he thought he was my dad. He started acting as if he was my dad. I'm like, wait a minute, my dad he wouldn't talk to me like this. So I am not going to allow you to talk to me like that. Um,
Mhm.
it was a point that I'm actually going to send him this so he can watch it. But we were driving down Cottage Grove, roughly between like 94th Street and 87th Street. We're going back and forth in his car. And he's like, well, if you don't like what I say, you can get out of my car. Pull over. Pull over. And guess what I did? I got out of that car.
Oh
Because you're
my
not
God.
going to do. You're not my dad. You are someone dating my mom. You are for my mom. But like
Yeah.
Nova just said, wait a minute, he picked up 5 kids. My mama has 5 kids. He picked up us and he took care of us. But at the time, me being so, yeah,
Just
but
young and naive.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not gonna talk to me like this.
Yeah.
Um, that was the last time he actually talked to me like that. And my sisters and brothers will laugh like, haha, you had to check him for him to, not do it again. I don't think that I had to check him. I think we needed to have that conversation and him
Hmm.
to understand how I felt and the reason I felt like I did. So eventually, we talked it out. I love him. Hi, Joseph Palm. I still love you. I'm your baby girl forever. But we still talk all the time. But that's something that, I remember. But I remember having breakfast in the morning. I'm sure
Mhm.
on some days we had cereal, but shout out to my mom. She definitely made sure we had breakfast. Now we
Was
had,
it King Vitamin cereal? What kind of cereal you had?
I've never heard of those. Today.
You had what kind of cereal?
Um, I don't remember. Wheaties. I remember Wheaties because that was my dad's favorite cereal. Uh, but yeah, like we always had box cereal. We've never had the bag cereal. So even when I go in a grocery store now, I see bag cereal. I'm like, what is this? So
Mm.
shout
Wow.
out to my mom.
So yeah, so you guys hear it first here on KNN. Mrs. Coco was privileged as a
No,
child.
I was
She
very well taken care of. Again, my
she was
mom
privileged. She was
like
privileged, gated community, white
took
picket
care of
fence.
us. No, but shout out to her. Like I said, my mom did what she had to do. She worked morning, noon, night. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't remember no bag cereal. We had box cereal. So like now,
Yeah.
girl, she knows. We gotta eat some good cereal. Like she won't eat the generic cinnamon toast crunch. She won't. There's
Y'all
different.
had cinnamon toast crunch as a child?
No, now like my daughter
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
tried to buy her the generic brand. She was like, no,
Uh-huh.
these are not the same.
uh, oh. Okay.
I
All
am
right,
very
daughter.
aware.
Yeah, has been
Hyper aware.
very good to my family and I. So
She
yeah,
said
Mhm.
she's breaking that generational curse now.
girl.
Okay.
Right. Right. But
What?
that's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, but that's
These
good
kids
though. I
will
mean,
never know.
yeah, I mean, who was I talking to? I think I was talking to one of my good friends, and her and I were talking about just how sometimes, even talking to my mom too about it too. Sometimes every generation, I think there's a point, especially as parents, we overcompensate with our children and with our kids because in our mind we say, "Hey, I don't want them to go through this, and I don't want them to have to worry about this." Right?
Hmm.
So in our mind, we like, okay, I gotta do it this way, I gotta do it this way, I gotta do it that way, and then you do it, and then the product comes out later. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with this little butt? You know what I'm saying? You be just wondering, like, damn, how did we get here, right? So, but in the same light, out of um, it's not out of hate or malice or yeah, it's not out of hate or malice for our parents because they did the best what they could with what they knew, and that's what we're doing the same thing as parents, or as aunts and uncles and
Yeah.
those providers. We're doing the best that we can with what we know, and we're only thing we can base that off of is our life experience
For sure.
and
Yeah.
information that's available out there from literature and things of that nature. We're so in our mind, we are constantly, I believe, y'all let me know what y'all feel out there in K&N world. Okay, let us know in the comments how y'all
Come
feel.
on,
But
Charms. Let's
but,
go. Let's get in them
do you,
comments, Charms. Let us know about your childhood and what you guys expected when you guys were younger. That
right,
now you understand.
right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like so now that we're older, I think that we're constantly readjusting. Right, we're constantly pivoting. We constantly say, okay, now that I have more information about how I could potentially do it right, because there is no real handbook. Let's be clear, right? Let's be
Yeah.
real. There's no one size fits all for everybody. Everybody's family is different. Just amongst us, as co-hosts right now, talking about it right now, we got three different uh, upbringings, and
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
people of color, okay? From the shy, I'm just saying, okay? And we all still had different experiences. But the
Yeah.
one thing I believe that is true to form to all people, to most people, is that when you step into an environment as a parent, you're doing what your best you know how, right? You're doing the best you know how. And for those out there that aren't doing the best that they know how, and because they just don't give a fuck, don't have kids, okay? Please give that child to somebody else that can take care of that child, okay? Don't
Listen,
sit there and do anything crazy.
That is true.
I agree. Um, DLL
DLL,
says totally agree that we do the best we can with what we know at the time. I think the difference is not everyone is able to reflect and access boomers. Yeah.
that's right.
That's true. And also I want to add to that the world is changing.
Yes,
Even if you have those core values that worked back then, they may not work now.
yes,
The things that didn't work back then, maybe they work now. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
It's an ever changing world. So we have to, in one sense, keep up with the changing of the world, but we have to also have those grounded things that worked for us
Mhm.
Mhm.
that the new
Mhm.
generation needs to pick up on. Like, hey, we didn't get this and that when we were young.
Yeah.
You
Mm-mm.
need to go through that too, so you can appreciate when you do get it as an adult.
Come
We
on.
know we know now there's the new trend to have all the news, but we didn't have that, and
Yeah,
because of that, we value things differently.
that's right.
If you get everything you want as a child, when you get as an adult, you're not going to value it as much as you're going to do as an adult. So I
Yeah.
feel like there are some things that we need to take from that struggle, from those
Mhm.
trials and tribulations, but
Yeah.
there are also things that we need to change as well.
Yep.
So I think managing what we expect of this generation
That's right.
um, is very important to our upbringing. We have to bring those core values and things that we've learned growing up from our struggles and things that we didn't understand as a child
Yeah.
Yeah.
and teach the new generation, hey, I know y'all got it easy now because y'all got phone, y'all can Google everything. We had to open a book.
But they got it differently. They got it differently. And I think kind of speaks to what Eric is saying here. He says each generation has a new hill to climb as the time changes. Our kids and the technology and information is at their fingers right now. So
Exactly.
and then
Yeah.
his so it goes together exactly with what you're saying, Clover, is that
Thank you,
we
Eric.
our pieces and what we struggle through is totally different than what our kids are struggling through. What our parents struggled through was totally different. What their parents struggled through was totally different. Now we're going back 2 or 3 generations. Now we're talking about dead in the midst of racism for those of people of color,
Yeah.
Hmm.
specifically dealing with segregation, dealing with in your face racism, more bolden, emboldened. Nowadays we see that there's a pendulum swing because of this past idiot of a commander in chief we had, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people feeling that they're more emboldened to come out and do and say what they want to say and how they want to say it, and that's still a double-edged sword because we can't go and just pop in their mouth the way we want to all the time,
So,
all the time, all the
Right.
time. Okay, let me be clear, not all the time because we still have to have some
Not
type
all
of
the time,
information
And yes, some
narrative.
of them Gen X's, yes, all
Yes,
not all the time, Gens.
right.
We
So I
know
mean,
freedom of speech.
yeah.
come on, right? It's being in the right place at the right time. It's just just
yes, there's a
having
way to have freedom of
understanding.
speech.
It is. It's oh my God, it is. Miss Coco, I think you were about to say something a little earlier. What you about to say, Mama?
Oh, just to go back to what Nova was saying. Again, my mom has 5 children. We
Yeah.
had what we needed.
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
some of my classmates had the latest her kids. We had what we needed when we
Hmm.
needed it. We never wanted for anything. So as I
Yeah.
became an adult, my mom used to always ask, "Why do you have so many shoes?" Right
Hmm.
now, if I was to count, I can't even start. Um, think how many pairs of shoes I own. I have so many.
Hmm.
I feel like that came from me having like one pair
Yeah.
here, pair there. So now my money, I'm buying shoes. Like Chloe,
Yeah.
Chloe has more shoes than probably most adults. And
Hmm.
I
She got
love
more than
shoes.
me.
My husband loves shoes. Um,
Well, y'all shoeies.
and
I mean,
yeah,
that's what y'all shoe family. That's okay then. Get
and
it.
growing up
Yeah.
though, he had what he needed. He didn't have the
Yeah.
latest of everything when he wanted it.
Yeah.
I think that's why I kind of picked that up from. Like, no, if I
Mm.
want this, I'm gonna buy it. But teaching these kids now, no, Chloe
Yeah.
probably has more money in her bank account than I actually have in my checking account.
Oh wow!
Hmm.
Come on,
But
Chloe. We need to hit you.
Listen.
I need to talk to you after the show.
Right. But
I holler at you after the show. I had something to tell you. You know, we
But at 7 years old, she gets it. She knows that if she cleans up, she knows that if she's doing her chores like she's supposed to, making sure. And it's the small things, putting your coat in the closet when
right.
when you come in, put your shoes.
mm,
She
But
knows
what?
she earns.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you. No, I'm sorry, I didn't even cut you off, but that's exactly the point. You're managing her expectations. Now
I
she's
was
getting
gonna
a
say that.
value, a work value, and ethics. And like Eric is saying here, you're teaching values because this is a true statement. You have to make sure those values are instilled. So she's learning that if I do this, this should be my result from
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
right? And then if that's not happening, she can say, "Wait a minute, My time is not being valued here. Let me
Yep.
move on and do something different.
Yep.
I love that. That is awesome. What
Thank
we
you
got,
guys for the
DLL?
comments too. I love to hear you guys to read the feedback from you guys too. And before you read
Go ahead.
DLL's
Yep.
comment, this segment is brought to you today by a turkey sandwich from the deli and some deviled egg potato pie.
Girl.
I will I will be eating periodically throughout the segment because I haven't eaten anything, and I am drinking the new Stella Rosé by Brandy, you guys. So I'm putting some on my stomach. Um, my co-host looking at me like I'm crazy, but
Oh, Lord have
that's
mercy.
me,
Help
y'all.
us.
That's
Like
me. That's Miss Tovanova. Listen, it's the
Jesus.
show.
crazy.
Okay,
All righty. Here we go.
back to
DLL
the show.
says, back to our formally scheduled
Back to the
program.
show.
DLL says, we also tend to go 180 from things we don't agree with for how our parents raised us.
Mm.
Every generation develops the next. So I'm not sure why the generational wars.
Yes.
We're all products of each other. Oh my God, DLL. Come on, girl. Yes,
Good point.
Yes.
absolutely.
Very good point.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It is.
Love
We
A lot of
find
times going in
ourselves.
the opposite direction is not
Yeah,
the answer, you guys. Learn
it's
from
not.
what you went through.
Yes.
Come
You can
on.
change without changing the tradition of how we got to where we are now. You
Right,
can,
right.
you know,
It's so amazing. I mean, I love that. I mean, and there are times and moments where there is a constant battle between generations, which I don't think there needs to be. To DLO's point, and Nessa 27 chimed in too. She totally agrees. Is that we don't need to it's not a confrontation, not a competition, right? It's just let's take the best practices from each generation and let's continue to
exactly.
build on them. Does it have to be exactly the same way? No, it doesn't have to be exactly the same way.
Yes.
But as long as the end result is still there, as long as we're still growing and we're learning and we're moving forward together as a team, I think it's so important. And the opportunity is absolutely there for that.
And I think in so many ways it can't be exactly the same way because the world is changing. You
Yeah,
can't
fact,
we can't
fact.
do everything exactly the way our parents do it because
Hmm.
what in the Amish will be going on there? Like things are
I
changing.
mean,
Taking the
I mean,
phone with the cord away from your kid is not the same as taking a cell phone because they need their cell phone for when they go out, when they leave. Your child has to
mm,
call home. Then we don't have
look,
pay phones anymore. So your child,
see,
when they go out, you need to call. Wait, what's
mm-mm.
going on?
That,
What
that,
happened?
that's that auntie right there. See, we always make fun of Clove on this one. She got an auntie-ism. Clover got those auntie-isms. She's been blessed to
Listen,
be the residential auntie, and that is 100% great at this point in her life. But us parents, no, that phone, we snatching that motherfucker. Okay, if your ass don't act up, it's
Yes.
going up. Okay, I'm just here to tell you. So
Right now,
those out there,
get that phone
y'all know
right there and don't touch it again. And so
that.
I
y'all
Okay,
y'all will be
let's
witness.
go.
I have talked to Mr. Antonio G about adopting a child, so I'm learning a lot from this
Yes.
and the other segments we have. So don't think because I'm saying certain things that I'm not learning from. I'm learning as I
Oh
go,
yeah.
but I do know that things now are not going to be the way the things are going to be by the time I get a child.
that
Okay,
is true.
I'm going to
Yeah.
adopt a child, and there are going to be new rules and new regulations and new standards and stuff, new expectations
Hmm.
that we're all going. But I'm going to always dig deep in the core of how I was raised, and pick
Hmm.
those parts that help me become the person I am, the
Oh yeah.
person that has survived the things that I've survived because of my upbringing.
Mhm.
I'm
Right.
going to teach
I
that,
love that. I
but
love that.
I'm not going to do it things the exact same way. So
Yeah. That's
Sure.
good. We got this
this
thing that we
entertainment
said.
for entertainment purposes,
Uh-huh.
okay? For entertainment purposes, okay? That phone with the cord, honey. Some of y'all don't know what that means, but there's once upon a time, okay? Once upon a time, there was a phone that had a cord to it that was
It was
attached to a
attached to the
wall.
wall, honey,
It was attached
or
to a wall,
sitting on
y'all.
the
Listen,
table.
and it was only in most houses it was only one. So that means if you came home, you had to wait your turn to use the phone. And if that phone rang while you was on it, you had to hang up so that the other person who the phone call may be, there was no going outside with your phones. When we went outside to play.
Come
We didn't
on.
know what time it was when we went out. The way we know when it's time to come in the house is when the street lights. Street lights are those things that y'all kind of ignore on the
Right.
streets that come over the street. Listen,
No, ma'am. When that street light come on, you need to be on the porch
that
or in
has
the
no
house.
meaning. That no reference for today's world. Today's world, those street lights are just for decoration.
No, count your blessings. You just said if another call came through. I remember not even having call waiting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That line beeped a couple times. Then you had to
Hmm.
try to call again. So
Oh yeah.
Listen, some of the times when that call came through, was mama picking up on the other phone in the room, like, who
That's
on
it.
this phone?
That's
And
it.
you was like,
When you hear
oh,
that click, when you
yeah,
hear
you
that
hear
little
that click.
click,
That was
click,
the
you
other
like,
call coming through. It was for
right.
somebody in the same house.
And you get quiet because you
Whew.
don't know what you were saying. You stop, and they're
We
like,
need
"I
to
know
go
you
back
on
to
that
the
phone."
basics, Nessie said. I agree. I
Come on,
swear
Nancy,
we need
what's
to.
that?
Ooh.
I want to know what's the basics. Can you elaborate? Like share with me what you mean by that because I don't.
The
Yeah, yeah. What are
basics is
some of the
the
basics?
listen. I this is my opinion of it. I know Nessie's has his opinion, but the basics for me is technology being in reverse. When AOL first started
You get your CD
through
come in the
our
mail.
household, it changed the frequency of how we of our
Operated.
expectations on life.
Yeah, it
It
is.
changed how we meet people. It changed how we
Hmm.
communicated with people. It changed how we what we expected of other people. It changed how we viewed beauty because now we have social media telling us what's beautiful, what's ugly,
Hmm.
what's this, what's that. It exposed a lot of things that were also going on in household way before the internet. Now we got an inside view of people's house. So the basics is staying inside the home, knowing what's going on
Hmm.
inside your own home. Now we pick up the phone, we seeing what's going on in somebody else's house, on their block, in their workplace,
Right.
and half the time it's none of our business. Why you sharing it in the first place? How many times you been on social media? It's like, why did you post this?
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
basics to me is minding your own business.
Mm.
You
Not
know,
man your own
but
business. Honey.
not to exclude K and N because y'all getting the inside of our thoughts and our minds. So just everything except K and N, y'all. Y'all can come on in our lives. We're gonna share with you guys.
Let's see what
But you
DLL
know,
has to say. We got a
y'all know what I'm
comment.
talking about. When it comes to social media, some stuff people should be keeping to themselves that they don't. Let's go back to the
Hmm.
basics. If you ain't got
Yeah.
nothing nice to say about people, keep it to yourself. Those basics. When you get in trouble, get that switch off that tree, and you won't do that again. Those basics.
Yeah.
When punishment was go
Let's
to
see
your
what.
room and stay in your room. Now you can't even punish your kids by telling them to stay in their room because they get on their phone, their game, their computer. They can still talk to
Hmm.
their friends. What's the
No,
punishment?
no, this punishment. You can delete all and reconnect all that stuff. So it's just real easy to get rid of all that. But let's see here. We got a comment in here in the comments. What we got to
Okay,
say?
let's get to the comments.
DLL, what she says, I'd love to hear your thoughts on societal expectations when not all, when when all of it fits or want to fit in their proper boxes. I love that. Neurotypical versus neurodivergent. Okay, let's get it.
Okay, DLL, for these words that I don't understand the meaning of. What's neurodivergent and what's neurotypical? Because I don't know.
Oh goodness.
Joseph Palm, who was watching me, I told you guys that he would see the show, and I got a text message. So I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being there for me when my dad passed away, or for all of us. So I appreciate you, and I love you. Thank you for watching. Okay,
All right.
sorry.
No worries, just jumping into DLL's comment. So what she's asking is, so how do we feel when it comes to societal expectations, right? So what is supposed to be or what thought to be the right way to do things versus what is actually the norm or what's happening currently today.
Okay,
What are your guys' thoughts?
I'm
What are
sorry,
your
y'all.
thoughts?
My brother is on the side of me. I don't know why in the middle of this he's trying to ask me another question. I know I just asked you guys what is neurotypical and neurodivergent, but I didn't get none of that because my brother's over here. So since he want to make an appearance, I'm just going to point out that I was diverted.
Interrupted. We got you. I don't think there's a wrong way and a right way to do anything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He Googled it for you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, come on, Coco, because he just said it has to do something with your brain. And I'm thinking he's telling me he need to tell me something about my brain. And I'm like, not right now. I'm trying to do the show.
Come on, brother.
Go ahead, Miss Coco. You were saying.
I love my little brother. We're gonna have him on the show one day. One day, not today, but one
No
day.
wrong way,
Child.
anything to do it. I don't know. Like, I think we learn day by day. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like today I'm a better mother than I was just yesterday. So something
Mhm.
I could have done yesterday, I'm like, ooh, well, maybe tomorrow I won't do that again. So I personally don't feel that there's a wrong way and a right way to do certain things, but obviously, mm, talk about it.
That's
So
interesting.
what? Yeah.
You
So
don't
what I
feel like there's a wrong way and right way to do certain things?
Certain things, yes. So
so
there's
basically it's
a guidebook on
I
parenting.
feel like there's a wrong way and a right way to do a lot of things. Everything, really. There's a wrong way to do this and there's a wrong way to do that.
mhm.
I don't think there's a wrong and a right question to ask, but I think that there's a wrong way and a right way to do everything.
Hmm.
We
Well,
could do
that's
this
definitely
show
a
totally wrong, and we could do this show that may be wrong to other people but right to us. So there's a wrong and a right way to do everything, I feel.
uh-huh.
But hold on.
So,
Hold on. Lesson. This is a lesson. Neurodivergent is ADHD, autism, bipolar, etc. Basically anyone whose brain operates differently than what society thinks as normal. Wow. Okay.
right.
Mm.
Right.
So the question was, um,
So an example of this would be this. So if we put this, her question that she asked a little bit earlier. So we put this into an example. If you say you have a classroom of children, kids,
mhm,
right? So we know a lot of things differently now when it comes to our kids than versus what we knew back then. So back then we thought kids were just being bad. They weren't being patient. They weren't listening. They were misbehaving. But now science has taught us and has shown us that actually these kids are suffering from some sort of neural or mental instability, right? Or behavioral situation that needs to be treated for them to
mm,
perform in an adequate way, okay,
yeah.
or to be productive, to perform in a productive manner. So it's not that they were misbehaving or that they were just out here just acting a fool because they wanted to. No, it's because they have actually have a situation or a neurological imbalance that needs to be taken care of and considered. So if you're in, so to her question, you know, how do we think it fits or how it doesn't fit? I think that there's a lot that we've learned over these years that's
Mm,
allowed us to accommodate our children and our young people a lot better than what we could back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even and definitely way before then versus than what we're able to do nowadays. Nowadays we have more educated medical professionals that can actually see what's going on. Our educators, meaning our teachers and professors, are actually being trained and to understand and to notice when these things are different between our children. And then they actually have the guidance counselors and individuals within our school systems to help move our children and provide those services. Which one of my kids, two of my children actually, are provided those extra services because one of them has been diagnosed with bipolar and the other one is the ADHD. So having those services available for them, I think, is extremely helpful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what percentage of people feel the same way I feel, but I feel like okay, back then we haven't had much talk about ADHD. It was either you were in special ed or you wasn't. There
Right.
wasn't like
Right.
bipolar as a child and all this stuff. It was just you crazy or you're
Right.
not. I feel personally, and it's just me being transparent, I feel like a lot of this medicine created a lot of um the mental problems that we have today in society. A lot of the food that we eat, a lot of programming on TV, a lot of things that we're exposed to, a lot of radiation from these factories. I don't think we're born with a lot of these unless there's a history of it, unless there's like something the mom and dad went through when they were pregnant. A lot of it is biological too, but I feel like a majority of what we see today, and when we talk about all these crazy uh, Generation X kids and why everybody's so crazy, and I feel like a lot of this is um, what we're ingesting in our bodies and in our minds and what we see
Hmm.
and everything too. So when it comes down to like when they say the was it neuro what's it
Neurotypical.
neurotypical um issues that we have, I feel like a lot of that is like I said, the changing of the world. Everything is changing now, so now we have cell phones. We don't know what that's doing to our minds and our brains and how it's making us feel or whatever. And so
Yeah.
when we're feeling sad and anxious or angry or whatever, we don't know exactly the core of where that's coming from. And I think in an economy that's very based off capitalism and money and all this stuff in the economy, they're quick to throw you a pill and say, "Oh, you have ADHD. Take this pill. Oh,
Hmm.
you're bipolar. You just need to take this pill." You
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
So how do we manage the expectations of what we should do when we have those kind of when we can't feel like our total selves, but then we have doctors coming at us saying, "Oh, just take this pill. It may calm you down, but what else is it ruining?"
Yeah.
Now you see
Right.
those commercials. If you've been in Camp Lejeune in the last 10 years, you may have this, that,
That commercial. Oh, I'm sick of it. It comes on
and
everything.
it's I feel like the expectations of us are governmentally controlled. They know 10 years from now that phones are going to alter our whole minds, and this is another show. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
managing my expectations of how people feel neurologically, I just learned to just let people be them and not
Mhm.
categorize them as a such of, "Oh, you're retarded, you're crazy." you know you may not be my cup of tea,
Or you just
but
think differently.
I'm not going to make you feel like you're an alien or you're.
Right. Right. Not isolate anybody, which is good. Which is good. Let's see. We got a couple of comments. We're gonna go back through these real quick. Let's see here. We got Uncle Reggie who says, "I don't understand why people are doing that," and I think that was in reference to just a generation that was competing against one another, right? We were talking about that a little bit, and then the yes, I think the yes, okay, was just about just taking that phone away. So we were talking about just the way to discipline the kids, like you can discipline them kids. Um, and let's see here.
They
DLL,
find a way,
she,
honey.
she jumped in. She said expectations are not products of our own past, present, or social economics, etc. They're also the number one thing that disappoints us.
Mm.
We expect others to act slash think as we do, then get our feelings hurt. Hey,
And
hey,
that's total nonsense. We
it
we are
is.
all created individually. Us.
Hmm. Yep.
We're individuals for a reason.
Hmm.
I just think you need to find a tribe that fits
Hmm.
your mental capacity and what you can tolerate and what you can
Yeah,
vibe with, and let everyone else be themselves.
that's right.
If everyone live and let live, we
Hmm.
wouldn't have this. "Oh, you're crazy. You're
Right.
bipolar." Someone's bipolar is someone else's normal. I understand why you went off and then now you're not going off anymore. I understand it. Don't let,
Hmm.
I think a lot of times we just be like, "I need a pill because I feel." Do
Well,
you?
feel.
Do you need a
Well,
feel?
feel.
Do you need a pill? Or do you need to feel the way you feel?
Right.
And your feelings need to be validated
That's right.
and respected.
Mm.
You
What you
know.
thinking, Miss
Now,
Coco?
this
I see
this
your
is not
brain
this
turning.
is right. I was gonna get to it, but this is not to say that every crazy thought you've thought you're validated. I'm sorry, because there's
Right.
something I've learned over the week that there's something called maps. Do any of y'all know what maps is?
Hmm.
The term maps was some people who are oh my god, I forget the name of the But it's when pedophiles are now trying to be called maps, okay, and it's people that are oh my god, my
But we
brain, I
will.
need a
Well, how
pill.
about we circle back to it, and
Let's
let
go
us
back
let's
to
get
it.
Miss Coco into it real
Yeah,
quick.
Miss Coco, go ahead. I'll look up maps, but we just gonna stay focused.
Um,
Come
Y'all
on,
know
Miss
I can
Coco.
ramble, but I'm gonna look it up. Go ahead.
Jesus, take the wheel. All right,
Don't do that, Miss
I got
Coco.
I got it. I got you, Miss Coco. I got you. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and look at the comment. Let's see here. There's,
sorry, y'all.
you good?
Take
Okay, go for it.
No, go ahead. Next comment.
Subscribe below
Miss
on
Coco. All
YouTube.
right,
Hit
that's
the
it.
bell for notifications to get
Hey,
some more of this crazy but
real
educational and
crazy.
entertaining conversation, you guys. If you are new here, subscribe. If you
Yeah.
are a returning member of KNN, please share this broadcast. People, have everyone join in on this crazy but educational and entertaining conversation. Thank you.
Respect your elders. Carry yourself like you are somebody when you leave the house. Remember, yeah,
Remember community.
that's what happened. That's the problem. Sorry, but remember, community. People of color used to look out for one another. That is true.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
So where I the block I grew up on, my mom actually grew up on that same block. So guess what?
Hmm.
Everybody was a family. Those street
That's
lights
right.
Nova was talking about, yes, when those came on, go to your porch. But then again, the neighbor was looking out for the next kid.
Hmm.
They raised us. It was all just we were one big family.
That's right.
Nowadays, don't tell my son this. Don't do that to my daughter. Don't. And it's just like, what happened? How can we go back
Hmm.
to that? That the community actually is there for each other. We that was very good. Like we don't do that anymore. We don't. We can't. It's
Yeah.
actually hard nowadays in 2020. It's hard
True.
um
Yeah.
to. Sorry guys, I have an important call. Sorry, it's a school.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Do
Also,
your thing.
to speak on that, when she was saying how the block was raising everyone's kids. On the other hand, can we trust that these days? Can we
No.
trust that the neighbor down the street is going to have our best kids' interest? Even if we said, if that grown up down the street said to do this and that, you better do it and respect your elders. Because now the elders came from the generation that's like, I don't, you ain't my kid. I could talk to you anyway. You have grown people arguing with kids, and
Hmm.
kids arguing back with the grown ups. So now, can you trust this generation? So to say, can we get back to that? Is I feel like first we need to ask, is that something we need to get back to, or is that something that we need to figure out inside the household, something different from when we go out in public with respecting elders, like, because
Yeah.
now some of the days elders are grandparents at what, 40, and they come from the same generations that I came from, and they're just like, I could talk to you any kind of way I want to talk to you. It's like when we had elders who talked to us when we were young,
You
it
listen.
was knowledge behind it.
Right. Right.
They're telling you this
Listen
for
to
a
wisdom.
reason to prepare you for life.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the elders are talking to you like, shouldn't like a kid off the block. Like, it's like, come on, you too
Hmm.
old to be acting like that. I would
Yeah.
no, don't listen to that. Oh, that adult is young in the
Right.
mind. That's not
Right.
an adult I want my kids to have to listen to when they go outside and play.
Yeah.
So it's more to it than can we get back. They said a village raises child, or it takes a village to raise a
Take a
child.
village to us.
But in
Hmm.
these days, the village can ruin your child.
They can, and I agree with that. I think that that's definitely a possibility, and and to put what from what I take away from both what you and Miss Coco both are saying, is that back then, there were generations that lived on the same area in the same block, so
Hmm.
you all grew up together. You all grew up with those same characteristics. Nowadays, you see a lot of people they're not remaining in the same city,
Exactly.
state, and streets or whatever you grew up on. So you go out and go to different communities. You're now amongst strangers, so to speak, and then
Yes.
you don't have that welcoming community that we used to have or what we expect or what we knew, right? So we have to your point, manage our expectation when we get to that new area because I don't know these people. I can't trust them the way that I did where I was.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good point. And just knocking into some of these comments because they are coming in. We appreciate all y'all just being part of the
Yes.
conversation.
We're
Thank
not
y'all.
gonna
Thank
be able to
y'all.
get
Thank
all
y'all.
y'all in there, but we
But
definitely
we
gonna try to keep up with
So let's see here. DLL, she was breaking up the neurodivergent information. So I think that's great. I think we hit that already. She gave a note again to say that neurodivergent isn't a problem with the brain, but simply
okay.
operating differently than the mass.
Okay.
Which is great. I love that you broke that up and you really helped that out for ourselves and our viewers.
Thank you.
Yes.
Um, and then she also jumped in here and says, "I love it. You are dead on with that meds you were talking about earlier, right? It wouldn't be necessary if folks were able to embrace the differences. We just gotta embrace the differences. Just mind
Yeah.
your business. You
Yeah.
be you. You let somebody be themselves. Like, oh my God, fuck you trying to control everything,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So I think that was great. Let's see here.
Absolutely.
Nessus 27 jumped in too as well. She says the neurotypical, our parents believe that their way was the only way or the highway.
Child,
Parents
I've
were
heard that
always
so many
right,
times.
period, because I said
So
so. I don't know how many
And,
times you
and now
heard it because
and
I
now as
said
adults,
so.
they were like, when we were kids, we didn't know what we were doing, but you said
Yeah,
you knew everything. It was your
right.
way.
Right.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were saying too earlier, I believe, right? Just you do the best you can with what you know. That's all they do. That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes on to say, but now we know neurodivergent. We know we've learned from those lessons that we had to have more discipline because of racism and teaching coping skills to live by once you grown, right? That's true. That is true. Real talk, real talk. Let's see here. We're gonna get to this next comment right here. Then she goes on to say, confirmation is not always necessary, but please let the mentally challenged take their medicine. Okay.
Right. Listen, I'm not. Listen. I wasn't
Give
saying
them
you're
their
not
meds,
supposed
honey.
to take. Just to clear the air, I'm not saying don't take your pills. Stop taking your pills because of that. But I'm just saying that the way the pharmaceutical business is, whenever you
Hmm.
feel like you're off, there's a pill for everything.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You need
Right.
to take, if your doctor has examined you and told you you need to take this pill, take your medicine, y'all.
Get your meds.
Do not take that. That's
Yeah.
not to tell people not to take no medicine.
Yeah.
It just understand that
Right.
everything you're going through, they're going to create a pill for it. That's
Now,
it.
I don't necessarily agree because the doctor prescribed you a medication that you need to take it. They are getting paid off each prescription that they write. So you have a
Mm,
headache. Oh, it's this. Take that medication. You take that medication that's going to cause a. You're going to have side effect from that. Now you have to take another medication. Then side
Mm.
effect. So I that's how they get paid. So yes, if you have diabetes and you know that I
Hmm.
can change it if I eat right, temporarily take the medication. If you know you have it, you're having headaches, blood pressure high, take your medication, but also change your diet. Do things to prevent those so now you can get yourself off of the
Yeah.
medication that your
Yeah.
doctor requires you to take.
you hear that, Mama? You hit
Nope.
Mama,
We're not gonna
Mama,
be doing my auntie that way. Anyway,
Mama.
we're not
Don't
gonna
do
be
You
that.
hear
doing
that,
auntie
Mama?
that way. Stop it.
Your your sweet Coco said, "Do what you're
Stop it.
supposed to do now, Mama. You can't have that chocolate cake that's in the refrigerator today, Mama."
But I agree with you, though, Miss Coco. I love that. I love the fact that you're basically telling people to do their homework. Do your
Yes,
homework.
Yes.
Know
yes.
your body, understand what's going on with your body. Go and research and figure out what are these side effects for this medication and whether or not if there's an alternative method to fix what you got going on. So if it's I need to get off my butt and go walk around the corner once or twice a day, if I need to eat more green leafy foods, if I need to eat more bright vegetables, then go ahead and do so. So you can help yourself get off of this man-made compound chemicals that they've been squeezed and compacted and dehydrated and heated together in this little pill for you in this little itty bitty space for you to go ahead and swallow and digest in your system that breaks
Not
out
only
and goes
that,
out everywhere.
and not
Okay.
only in a pill, trust me, they have food prepared for you to eat so that you would need the little pill to take. Think
Well,
about
yeah,
the food you
yeah, that's a
eat,
whole nother. Yeah,
what you're putting in your body determines the
yeah,
pills that you're gonna be taking later on in life.
yeah,
So think
yeah.
about that too.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole segment on itself
We're gonna
to
do a
talk
show. We're
about
gonna
it
do a
too.
show about that
Yeah.
later. We're gonna
Oh
talk
yeah.
about
We're gonna
nutritional
get the
wise
dietitian on here, nutritionist. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get that
because
one
I
going.
could use some help with that too. Because burgers and bacon look so.
Yeah, they really do. Uncle Reggie, you said no. Let us know what you're
No,
talking about with the no.
no, we're gonna
Yeah.
take that no and put it to what
Uh,
she talking about a bacon burger. No,
right. We're
no.
gonna keep the bacon burger. Just have drop the bun. Okay, and then and then what you say, Nestor 27, you said community is not necessarily geographic. Build your village. I agree with you. You definitely can build your village,
Yeah,
but to the point that Clover, no, and correct me if I'm wrong, Clover, what you're saying is you can't just walk into an environment or into a community and expect that it's going to be the same as what you grew up on. You definitely got
right.
to build your
Not
village,
even
but it's going
walking
to
into
take
a
time.
community when you're living in a community. Even if you've been there for
Mhm.
years, you don't know your neighbors. You can't say if you go, my child go outside and that grown up down the street told you to do something, to do it. You
Yeah.
can't trust that these days. Back in the day, we had
Mhm.
Big Mama sitting on the porch.
Right. Watch
If a
them.
little child went on the street, get out of that street.
Right.
You supposed to listen to her.
Excuse me.
Now we
Definitely.
got Big Papa sitting on the porch. Little girl, come on over here. Don't you
Nope.
listen to that man.
Not come sit on
You
my
know what
lap.
I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
I'm just
Absolutely not.
saying it's a new world. It's
Yeah.
like when we say bring the old days back in the new in these days, some of that
Yeah.
stuff don't fit. The what we
Yeah.
expected back then, we
Yeah.
can't expect right now. So
That's true.
so what Nessie 27 saying is build your own village. That means you listen to this person, that person, and
Right.
this person.
Right. I
Not
love that.
any adult when
Yeah.
you go outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Those identify those individuals. I love
Yes.
that. I love that. Yeah. That's a good point. And then last comment we got for the day is fantastic point, Antonio, on the past and generational geographics. I hadn't looked at it like that before. Yeah. Well, thank y'all so much. But this has been okay.
Yeah.
The
I
day of
love
the day. Y'all
y'all
been jumping
so
in. Y'all been
much.
definitely helping us out. Getting extra schedule. So
Listen,
kudos
y'all,
to
before
that to
y'all
all of y'all, and we really appreciate all this. And this is the wonderfulness. No, we got that. We're gonna bust out our question. Where the box at, Clover? Where the box
hold
at?
on a minute before we get to the question. Hold on. I want to introduce y'all. For those of you guys who are new here, you guys know I am promoting the Fetch app.
That's
The
right. That's
Fetch
right.
app, you guys, is an app that you can use to gain points towards your gift cards. It's good for the
Mhm.
holiday season. It's good to even put people on. Listen, if you put people on like I'm putting people on, you can get 2,000 points too. But I'm giving you guys my code right below. When you download the Fetch app, all you do is snap a picture of your receipt. You earn points. You get gift cards. Period. My code right there at the bottom, FK726M, give you 2,000 points, y'all. Listen, I'm giving that to you guys to
Okay.
enjoy. Thank me later. I am addicted to receipts now, honey. I will snap anybody receipt. Give me the receipt. Snap it. Okay? Give me the points.
Give those
Gift
points on
cards.
it.
They need them. Mrs. Coco, you have an app too, don't ya?
I do, and it's Get Upside. And I knew you were coming to me, so I just did something that, and it came through Saturday. I tried to screenshot it. See if y'all can follow along with me. Can you see it from here?
No.
No.
Lord Jesus, where my trifocals? I need
Even
trifocals to
with my
read that one.
zero glasses, I can't see that girl.
I'm gonna need my
And I
trifocals.
can see everything clear.
Well, it is saying time to celebrate. Your
Ooh,
total earnings are $157.51
Come
you
on,
got that from the
son.
Upside app?
from the Upside app. Literally, you
What's,
go to the gas
what's the Upside app?
girl, you get money back on gas. When you go fill up your
What?
car, If it's 250, guess what, y'all? Gas by my house is 2.95. Woohoo! But no, I
Okay.
realized like 10 cents back, 15 cents back, 30 cents back. It also works on food. So at different restaurants, if you get the Upside app that's free in Google Play Store, Apple Store, once you get to the gas station, just download it. It is free to join. You get
I
money
love
back, and thank me later.
it.
Okay. All right. So she got $157 off of going to the gas stations that Upside
And
app
you
told
see,
her.
that was on what was that date? That was
And she,
on Saturday. So yeah,
okay.
I get money back. 100. So I can download that money to get gift cards, more gas.
Hmm.
So yes, check it out, guys.
That's
Okay.
what's up. Okay.
We're
Yes.
gonna
All right. Now,
put that right down the ticker. Go for it.
All right.
you guys, as you guys know, on KNN, we noted, but now we have the note box, and you guys, um, and you guys haven't been doing this lately, but I really encourage you guys to hashtag in the comments any topic that you want me to throw in this box, and I will throw it in the box, and you guys can get your comment pulled at any show, at any given moment in the box. I have comments in. Oh wait a minute, comments in here, you guys, and I'm gonna pull one out. Make sure you put a hashtag in the comments on YouTube in the comment section. Put a hashtag and the topic, and we will give you our unfiltered, transparent opinion on it. And I hope this is something that's not too far left.
Just put hashtag what's in your
So,
cup.
so this topic is depression. Hashtag
Look at that.
depression.
Look at
Wow.
that, yeah.
Okay. And on that note, I'm going to take a little
Crazy.
sip.
Unbelievable. Look at what we just discussed today about this,
Hmm.
and depression came out. It is
I'm
real.
trying to say
It is real. It
it
is.
is.
Okay, so I'm going to be transparent and talk about depression because I just had talking to my cousin this weekend about my depression. We had a whole moment. Um, so my depression started during my transition. I had little to no support when I was transitioning. Family didn't understand my transition. I I transitioned from people that, with the help of people that I hardly knew on the streets. Like I was getting information from resources of people that may or may not have given me the best advice on transitioning and not having a support team with you during a traumatic time like that. It built up a lot of resentment. I was angry. I was lost. I felt like I had to do what I had to do in the world to survive. And because of that, I was very, very depressed. Depression is real. You don't need a pill for depression. That's just my opinion. Okay, I don't want nobody saying, "Well, you told I don't want you to not take your depression pills if you need a pill to be depressed. But you know, what you need is love. You need
Yeah.
people that support you. You need people around you that genuinely care about you. That cures depression. Love cures a lot of things.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I was, I felt depressed because I felt like in my transition, which should have been a happy moment, which should have been a very celebratory um, occasion, I was transitioning under people that were judging you off your looks. That middle stage of transitioning, and oh, you're not soft enough, and you don't look like a girl enough, and you still look like. So I was transitioning under people that I felt were my friends, but wasn't giving me the love that I needed to transition the way that I feel. I see a lot of people now that is more open. You have families supporting, and I admire that so much. And yeah, so my depression started from there, and it created a lot of anxiety socially. It created it caused me to isolate myself and only be around people who wanted me to be around them. I couldn't just go into people's, I'm finna come over there I couldn't just go over people's house anymore. I had to be invited because I
Yeah.
feel like you want me to be around you. So, and I still kind of deal with that today. I don't just pop up at people's houses. I always like, hey, what you doing? And wait for them to say, hey, come on over here.
Yeah.
Then I feel like I can go somewhere. I'm working on it. But depression is real. And depression usually comes up as that strong person who I know what I'm doing. Usually that person, it shows up like that too. So depression ain't always somebody looking sad in the corner, looking down, crying. It's not that. Sometimes depression is little um disguised as happiness.
Mm.
So um to that. I'm glad I pulled that out. But depression is very real. And
It's
I hope if
very-
anyone watching this that is dealing with depression to know that KNN loves you guys and you guys can come on here and you could be your authentic selves
That's
yes.
right.
and you can do stuff like I'm doing, eating in the middle of a fucking um and drinking and talking crazy and not knowing the meaning of this word and still feel like I have people that love me. So I don't care what y'all think.
Yes. Come on, friend.
That part.
Me and KNN love you
Absolutely.
down. Okay.
All the
So
way. All the way.
yeah, you
So
can take
for
your mask off at KNN. We don't care. We want you as you. Come as you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I
So
know how depression is.
yeah.
If anyone's dealing with depression and need to want to talk about it, you want to come on KNN, comment below. And
Or us
Well,
privately.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You can hit us up.
put it in the
However you want to
comments.
do it.
We'll delete any negative comments that may come up, whatever. But we love you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And just to add on to that, I see DLL. She mentioned, hey, Nova, I love to hear your story. Her 16-year-old right now is going through the same thing with transitioning.
And love.
So,
Yes.
um,
You're
I love you.
yeah. So there's definitely something to do. How about you, Miss
Yes,
Coco?
Nicole, it's definitely a mask. Yes, it does show up in
Mm,
this. Come on now, I'm telling you, these people that you call your strong. Check on your strong friends. Remember that meme? Check on your strong friends because, and even with Nicole, my style, I be checking on her periodically. She don't know how to check up on me, but I check up on her, and I'll be like, hey, girls, every once in a while I check on but it's very imperative that you have a good strong support system, even if it's one person.
yeah.
Cling to that person, check on that person periodically because you never know what people are going through.
it's
And
true.
back to the social media stuff, watch what y'all put on social media. Y'all don't know whose lives y'all changing with y'all opinions of other people. You know, it's real out here. But thank you, thank you DLL for sharing that. And all your 16-year-old need is the love and support,
Yes.
and do your research. Do your research, love and support them, and trust what they feel is real.
That's right. That's right. So what about you, Miss Coco? Do you have anything you want to share
Yes.
on the
I
topic?
would say depression is definitely real. Definitely check on your strong friends. Those are typically the ones that's hurting. Um, I I'm very blessed to have only experienced something traumatic once before that I spoke about on episode maybe
Like
8.
three, up to eight, yeah, seven, eight, I think it was, yeah. Mm.
Um, but I'm blessed that I've moved on. Uncle Young, he was in the comments before, so he knows what I would be referring to. I was able to seek professional help, and it wasn't with a little pill, y'all. It wasn't
Hmm.
Yes.
a pill. Um,
And
so
again, not to say that the pill is wrong, but the pill is not always right.
it's not always the cure.
Right.
The cure is what Nova said, love. I went to seek a professional therapist. I was just able
Hmm.
to talk to her. How I'm talking to the world now, that's how I was able to talk to her. She didn't
Yeah.
judge me. And from that, I learned I can't judge anyone. Someone has been through something I'm going through, worse than what I've been through, and you just never ever know. So support the person. If you can't accept what they're saying with a good heart and good intentions, tell them you don't want to hear it. Let them know. So do you don't they tell you what they're going through and then you're judging them in your head. No. Don't
Yeah.
do if you don't want to hear it or if you feel like you're going to be very judgmental towards them, just tell them you might want to talk to someone else. And
Yeah.
just tell them you don't care. It's okay. Tell them that you don't care. So therefore
Yeah.
they're pouring their heart out to you and you really don't care. Allow them to put that energy into someone else who's willing to listen and help them. So the cure to depression is a listening ear and a loving heart. So yeah, but if anyone is struggling with any sort of depression, please feel free to contact the information that's listed below. Mr. G is doing an incredible job putting all of that information right there for you. As you see, that was just a quick question out the box. So none of that was planned. He's literally doing his research as we're talking, putting that information on there for you guys. So you are truly loved here at KNN. So feel free to message us privately if you don't feel like you want to share in the message or in the comments. We are here for you guys. So yeah.
And as
Yeah.
Nicole was saying, prior to transition, take your time in all caps, because a lot of times we can rush our transition, and it's not the way. You don't have to rush if you're going through transition. Um, Either way, trans man, trans woman, take your time. It's
Yeah.
not a rat race. You do not have. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process. Um, don't go straight to the doctor to get implants because you want breasts. I'm serious. I'm just saying, take your time
Mhm.
and follow the doctor's orders. Don't listen to the your peers when it comes to transitioning.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and thank you, DLL. He says,
yeah.
thank you all. It's wonderful to hear from this community. Oh, thank you too for being a part of this conversation.
Yes, girl. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then one more comment here. Speaking of a little pill and having someone in the comments about transitioning, what about the little pill they are gonna have to take in order to transition?
With that, it takes time too. The,
Yeah.
when you're taking pills, listen, your body is adjusting to something foreign. Okay,
Mhm.
your body's adjusting to something foreign, whether you're transitioning as male or female. When you start taking pills, it's not an instant. You're not gonna wake up, the person that you want to be. It's a process. Just like when you're a child, when you're growing up, it's a process to you learning how to walk and learning how to run and learning how to ride a bike and learning how to drive. It's a process. So I encourage anyone going through a transition to take your time and follow the doctor's orders, and don't
Mhm.
rush anything, because the last thing you want to do is rush. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Then she asks here as well, is there a way to transition without the pill that will also affect the mind as well as the parts of the body?
Okay, Nicole. Now you think it's a
Yes.
doctor's on the panel.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know.
So what we
Let
could
me
do
know
though,
if there's a
this
way to
Research
transition without
for
the
you.
pill.
right, right. This might be
Nicole, what
another
did you?
conversation point that we might want to have one day if that's something you're comfortable with, Cole, of course. Get some other some trans men and some trans women on the panel guests and actually talk about this. This could be a great topic.
But
Seems like we got interest.
I'm more so listening to the question. Is there a way to transition without the pill that will also affect the mind as well as the other part? I think believing who you are and walking in your truth is
Hmm.
the most effective transition you can have without the pill.
Yeah.
If you feel what you feel, then
Be who you
that's
be.
real.
100%.
Okay.
There it is.
If you feel what you feel, then that is real. Okay. It may not be real to
That's it.
everybody, but it's real to you.
That's right.
That's all that matters at the
Well,
end of the day.
Mr.
well,
Your thoughts?
no, yeah. When it comes to depression, I mean, those of you that really know me know that I'm an Army veteran, and I've definitely went through plenty of moments of depression, whether it had been feeling isolated, feeling alone, or feeling um, misunderstood, and then being a black gay man and serving during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, that whole transition for that, and just being underground or in the closet, whatever you want to say, and having those moments, near death experiences during deployments, it really took one good one for me to come home and just say, you know what, fuck it, because I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. So for those individuals that I loved and that I felt cared about me the most are the individuals that I went to specifically and then told and came out, so to speak, or invited them another layer in. I'm trying to get away from the coming out piece. I invited you into my life.
Come on.
Okay, instead of me coming out, I'm inviting you in. So that,
Let's stop
yeah,
calling. Okay, let's normalize not coming out, but
right,
inviting you in.
yeah.
Yeah, come on, I like
I'm just
that.
saying, what I'm saying. I'm
That's
inviting you into
everything.
my world. I'm not, fuck you. I'm not trying to come out to you. Who are you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm
I've
bring
been
you
out.
in
I
to know
know
me
what you
more. Come on,
right.
that part. So, and that was important to me, and those for those individuals I spoke to and I told to directly, and other individuals they found out on their own because I didn't care anymore. It was just like whatever it is, whatever. But throughout those time, I've seen a plethora of uh, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, all sorts of individuals just over my spectrum of life, just trying to get that level of understanding. And I still do to this day. So depression is real. It's
Yes.
definitely something that you have, not just being a military veteran. It's something you can have as a parent, new moms, especially you can have it. So just finding the correct help is what's important. Find what works best for you. It's not a one shoe fits all. I'll cap it with that. It's not a one shoe fits all for everybody. What worked for Coco is not going to work for me. What worked for me may not work for Clover. So it all depends. It all depends on where you are mentally and what you're able to receive and what you want and what you're in a place for to receive and act on. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, depression being a wrap up for what we have here. I know there's a couple more comments. We're gonna hit those real quick, and we're
We're
gonna
definitely
wrap it up.
going to touch on that. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, so Miss Nicole Hill, because y'all was just saying the pill isn't always needed, so it is needed in trans, ma'am. So shout out to DLL for
Jump
responding,
in. Yeah,
but I also responded.
Mhm.
Welcome to the show. Please go back and watch everything that you missed regarding the pill. The reason I said that because she says she's been watching. We appreciate you for watching. We also have elaborated several times that we are not saying don't take the pill.
Right.
We are saying do your research because one pill that you may need to take, need
Yeah.
to take per the doctor's order could cause another side effect. So we are
Yeah.
yeah,
saying do your research. We're not saying no, just don't take the
We're
pill.
not saying don't stop taking your medicine, don't get off the pill. We're
That's
just
why I said
saying
go back and rewatch because several times we reiterated don't
yeah.
just not take your pill, but also
You don't
do
need a pill for everything, is what we're saying. Some we were talking about mental health when we talk about the pill. When you're depressed and when you have bipolar, there could be a
yeah,
reason that this person's going off, but don't name it bipolar because this person just snapped off on you. Maybe there's a reason for it. So
yeah.
do not discontinue taking your medication just before you decide to take a pill. Make sure that it's for you. It's what you need. Therapy is a stigma that we tend to like be more cautious of it. People don't think if I go to therapy, that means I'm crazy. No, it doesn't. It means you need someone to talk to.
that's it.
Right.
Totally.
You
Yeah,
know,
and just to close the loop on that one, Nicole. Yeah, thank you so much. Just for the question. I understand we all just trying to find clarity and things of that nature. So, um, you're asking, is it needed for transitioning? Yes, I think there is medication that is needed when you're
yeah,
transitioning. If you're doing trans men or trans women, so there is a medication that's needed because it helps out with your hormonal balance.
yeah,
But to get more information about that and specificity, I would definitely want to go ahead and talk to your provider or talk to a licensed professional that can help you out and do that research for you and help you get that correct answer if you're looking for the chemical piece and all the rest of that good stuff. But
yeah.
that's what's going to really help out the most with that one.
Yeah.
And the last two comments, real quick, before we wrap it up for the day, is
Rest house.
oh, here it is Uncle Reggie mentioned here. He said I was very depressed when I was growing up because of my sexuality. When I was growing up, he says, when I was growing up, I was very depressed because I was gay and didn't know how to express what was going on with me. So I turned to drugs because back in the day, it was hard. Hey,
Oh,
and I'm so sorry. I mean, no, I know you and I talked about this. That's my uncle. For those of you that don't know, that's our uncle, and I spoke to him in nauseam, especially when I was young and trying to figure myself out. He was always a sounding board, and this is actually a great example of what we were talking about earlier about how generational, different generations need to work together and find those
yeah.
lessons learned. He is one of the key members of people that taught me what not to do. Don't go out and do drugs. You ain't got to go do this. You ain't got to go do that because I learned from my experiences that this wasn't what you had to do to deal with this problem. Just talk to me. Go find somebody else. Go find a friend to talk to deal with, your sexuality and things of that nature. So we can do this in all
Uncle,
communities,
yeah.
in all spaces.
Uncle Reggie, I would love to have you on the show. I want to say January,
And
not
sometime in
February,
January, February, we'll talk about it.
not
Yeah.
February, but January for sure. I would love to have a talk about the transition from who people expect you to be to who you actually are. And I would love to
Mhm.
do a segment with you on there, and we can have it from three different generations, or even with Miss Coco, because I think there was a period in her life people expected her to be a certain way, and she turned out to be her own way. And then there was like, oh, well, we
Yeah.
expected you to be that. We expected. So I would love to do a segment with you. We'll be in touch, but yeah, I this show has been very enlightening to
Oh
me
yeah.
on many, many, many levels. I
Thank you.
appreciate you guys. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and commenting. I appreciate you guys for being a part of the show. The comments do not have to end when we not go live. You can continue to comment on under the show on YouTube. We will continue to respond to your comments. We will be stalking our YouTube page as usual. So if you guys leave a comment, I will let the team know. Hey, well, the team will be let me know there's a comment. I'll put our opinions or a response to the comments below. But we do want to encourage everyone in here to share
Yes.
this live because a lot of people can, get these gems too. Don't be stingy with us, okay? Share us with your people on all your social media networks. All you do is copy
Hmm.
URL. You can hit the share button below. There's the link for mental health. Antonio, would you also put that in the description under the show so anyone who's
We
dealing with,
will make sure it's all added. Everything we talked about, the links.
yeah,
Yes, we're
everything
there
will
for
be added
y'all.
below. And as we come to a closing of this show, I want to let everyone know that the season is coming to a close soon. I'm not sure how many how many episodes in this season, but I can guarantee you guys, if you stick with us, season 2 is going to be very, 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 very much more entertaining for you guys. Anything you guys want to add before we go? Because I can ramble.
Nope. I think
You know,
yeah.
I think no, I think that's it. I think we
I
covered it.
love
They're
you.
laughing because they know it's true.
I
I
love
had
these
I caught
ladies.
myself real quick, like,
I
hey, y'all
love
want to
these
say
ladies.
something?
Thank you. Thank you all so much for commenting. I can't call all the names out because I hopped out of that screen. But Uncle Young, Miss Heo,
DLL.
oh,
Nesta 27. Y'all was just jumping. Yes. Thank
we
you.
appreciate you all so much. Thank you for joining our show. And as Nova always says,
Everyone, stay peaceful, stay positive, stay
Stay blessed.
productive, but most importantly,
stay
Stay
blessed.
blessed.
stay blessed.